guys, it's Di from BeingMommywithStyle, and today I wanted to talk about intentional living, and I wanted to start like a little mini-series. So this is going to be episode 1 in our intentional living mini-series, which I'll put on a playlist on YouTube, and I'll also have in a little list on Facebook. But I wanted to talk today about how to hit play on our life, and I was really thinking about this. And for those of you that chose a word of the year and maybe had a focus of the year that you wanted to work on, this is something that I really want to be mindful every single day, because all of the actions that we make, if we just go on autopilot and we're just kind of like set on cruise and we haven't actively hit play, the play button, and we're engaged, then we're making decisions that may or may not result in that ultimate end goal. And so for my word of the year, it was serenity. That's what I chose. And for my intentions for the year, I want to make sure that I'm putting my family first, myself first, and make sure that I'm not bypassing basically moments of time where I could be more engaged or could have more time to give back to myself, and that sort of idea. So the idea of not just hitting the cruise control button and instead of actively just hitting the play and engage button is something I really want to kind of build into my life this year. I've been doing some research lately on creativity and productivity, and one of the interesting things that stood out to me about more productive people and people that were more creative is that they had specific habits, and they had these traditions that they did every single day, every single week, and they really built their kind of life around that. When I got to thinking about it, I was like, that is an awesome idea. And it's something that I tend to go through phases where I do and don't do. I mean, obviously you kind of get up, if you work, you get up at the same time every morning. And even when I was a stay-at-home mom, I tended to get up around the same time. I tended to try to get ready around the same time during the day. It wasn't always necessarily right after I got up when I was a stay-at-home mom, but I tended to try to do things on a certain pattern. And a couple times when I was a stay-at-home mom, we even had a loose schedule, like a time that we, tried to eat lunch and all those sorts of things. It really kind of helps set the rhythm of the day. And so now that we're in this kind of next phase of life, this next season of life, if you will, I wanted to think about what rhythms I could introduce into my life to be the most productive, to be the most creative, and to be the most intentional that I could be. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing and sharing in an upcoming video with you guys is sharing a Erin Condren planner that I got to use for a little bit of scheduling, but mainly journaling. And not journaling in the sense of sitting and writing down my whole day and being able to reflect on every single thing that happened that day, but I want to use it as like an intention journal. So by that I mean I want to write down maybe some words of the day that really stuck out to me, maybe something special that happens throughout the day, something memorable that happens with the girls, or something memorable working towards my word of the year that happened, maybe little wins, maybe if something really felt engaging, really felt right, writing that down and then being able to look back and see what patterns there were when I felt very inspired, very creative, and very joyful. So I'm going to be sharing my process for that, and I'm actually going to be sharing it with a couple gals that I work with as well. They were super excited about the idea, so I wanted to share that with you now before I do the dedicated video on it. And that was one way I wanted to get that kind of tradition into my schedule and get those moments of habit down so that it hopefully makes me more productive and creative as well. Another idea that I had to do something that was routine, and I think there's also been some studies on successful people having routines in their life and particular habits as well. And right now in my life, I'm most focused on intention, productivity, creativity. Those are the things that I'm really trying to bring out in my life. And I feel like if I kind of hit those points, then it's overall working towards success or whatever your particular vision or idea of success is, because success isn't the same thing to everyone, obviously. So I think I'm going to define that later on in life. For this year, it's definitely about being present, being intentional, and, focusing, making sure I'm taking care of myself as well. But one of the things that I think productive, creative people and successful people all do is they take some time to, usually I think in the mornings, to kind of collect their thoughts, mentally map out their day, and they kind of have that mental roadmap and that mental idea of where they want to go and what they want to do and what would make their day more intentional. So I think this is one of those things when you are on the autopilot button and you're just going through the motions. It's like you get up when the alarm goes off, you do this because you have to, you get to work, blah, blah, blah. You know, like I've taken a shower, I've done my hair. I literally, if I'm on autopilot, I may not even remember like going through those motions, which is kind of scary, honestly. So when you flip that switch and you put that little bit of active engagement in your morning, I think that that helps make it more intentional all throughout the day. So you can kind of flip that switch, hit the play button in the morning and say, these are the items that I need to do today to make my day more successful, to make my day more intentional. And I think that kind of keeps it on your mind the rest of the day as well. So you guys know that I'm really big on words. Words are very meaningful to me. In fact, I have a house full of words. I have Ray Dunn items still all over my house. And if you haven't seen the Ray Dunn prank that my husband played on me a few years ago, I will link that video down below. It's hilarious. And you know, it's something that is very funny and it is haha, like everything's labeled around my house. But words are very powerful. And so like when I use a mug that has the word happy on it, I'm happy. When I see a pillow that has the word joy on it, it brings me joy. So when I got to really thinking about this, you know, there's also, I think, studies that have been done where if you write down a goal, you are more likely to achieve that goal. In fact, I've even seen people say that you should write something down or just write it on the mirror and actually stick it up to the mirror where you have to look at it every morning when you're getting ready. And it's that whole active intention. It engages you and makes you think about what steps you need to take that day. So you're making intentional decisions to reach the end goal for the year. And this is something I'm definitely guilty of. So not the best decision of the moment may not be the best decision of the year. So let me explain what I mean by that. So, you know, if I'm just kind of rushing around and I need to do something really quickly and I just need to get it done to check it off the list, I might hit autopilot and just get it done. But if you think about intention and what your focus or what your intentional portion of the year is, what your goal for the year is, you may make a different decision in those situations. You may decide to purchase something differently. You may decide to make something else a priority with your time. And so I think we've kind of hit that season of life where I am short on time, and that kind of goes over into every kind of facet of my life. And so making very intentional decisions about what I'm putting my time into is a big deal. Making decisions about what you purchase is a good deal, because if you're just blindly like buying a bunch of stuff and you get it home and it all doesn't match, then what do you have to do? You have to take it all back to the store and, you know, etc. So there's a lot of different situations where you can kind of put that idea into it. But I think making those intentional decisions right up front will save you the cost of not ending up at the right goal at the end of the year. So if you're making this right decision down the right path the whole year long to get to that focus or that intent or that word or whatever's driving you, then if you're keeping that in mind all year long, you haven't just hit on autopilot and realized, okay, well, the car drifted this way. So now we've got to get steered this much more distance to get back where we were wanting to go. So that's one of the goals for the year as well. A little side note and intentional living and what it means to me is intentional living for me is also really creating special moments. So one of the things we recently talked about at work is kind of this paradox of you remember always the best moments of an experience, with examples like Disney and having children and all of those sorts of things. But if you kind of take that one step further, family time, I really want to create those special moments and those special things that we do together that we remember, like, yes, Disney, but something that's kind of been absent from my life because I have just hit autopilot and haven't really thought about being intentional and making decisions are special days that we used to do, like having a movie night and doing these really fun themed parties. Was it a lot of ridiculous effort and some expense for one day? Yes. But those are really special moments for me and the kids to enjoy a time together, and they're very memorable. The kids still talk about those even like a few years later, and they're also videos that you guys like watching as well. So it's one of those things that making decisions like that, in the short term, it may cost more money than not doing anything, of course. But you gotta think about what that long in-term goal is. And if it's to be more intentional, be more engaged, and kind of create those special moments, then things like that make sense to say yes to and put some time and energy into. So hopefully you're having a great start to your year, and that this was a good starting point to start thinking about making your word or your intention throughout the year a priority all year long. I want to keep doing a series on this occasionally throughout the year, and I'm going to put it all in one playlist. So if anyone wants to refer back to it, they can just hit play on the playlist and watch them through. We're also going to be doing a challenge on Facebook and Instagram where we share different pictures each week that reflect back on our words that we chose for throughout the year. And then I think it'd be fun to kind of look back at all of those throughout the year and see the progression. So join us on Facebook. I will put the link down below to the Being Mommy with Style Facebook group. I'm also on Instagram at BeingMommywithStyle. And if you have not hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. It's free, it's easy, and you'll be notified when I make new videos. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.